Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're tackling one of the biggest questions we get, really. It's something everyone trying to connect in a new language thinks about. What does it actually take to become fluent in English? It's a question that, often comes loaded with misconceptions. So our mission today is, to cut through some of that noise.
Right.
When you think about English fluency, what pops into your head? Is it talking super fast, like a news anchor?
Yeah, or maybe knowing thousands and thousands of words, like a walking dictionary.
Exactly. Or is it about being totally perfect, never making a grammar mistake, never pausing, never slipping up at all?
And those ideals, they've put so much pressure on learners for so long, it's often paralyzing, that fear.
Totally. But today, we want to clear the air a bit. We've really dug into our sources, articles, research, stories from real learners to try and redefine what English fluency truly means. Our aim isn't to give you a quick fix or some magic trick. No, we're going deeper. We want to explore the mindset shifts you need, the habits, the sort of psychological walls you got to break down.
And the actual daily practices, even simple ones,
Yeah.
that can genuinely make a difference, make your English flow feel more natural, more confident.
Yeah, this isn't about crazy promises. It's about real practical advice you can actually use, maybe even starting today.
And that redefinition, that's maybe the most liberating thing we can start with. Because the first truth, the absolute baseline, is that fluency is not about being perfect. Not at all.
Okay.
Think of it maybe less like a perfect building, like flawless bricks and mortar, and more like a river.
A river. Interesting.
Right, a river that flows, might have ripples, maybe it bumps over some rocks, but it keeps moving, right? Its essence is movement, flow.
Right. Unhindered.
Exactly. And fluency is like that. It's about that flow of communication. It's the confidence, really, to express yourself smoothly, spontaneously, getting your ideas across effectively, even if you stumble on a word here or make a small grammar mistake there.
Which everyone does, even in their native language.
Absolutely. Those little imperfections, they're just part of talking, any language.
So letting go of that perfection chase, that must be freeing for people.
Oh, incredibly empowering. So many learners get totally stuck, They're just endlessly studying grammar rules, memorizing these huge lists of words.
Thinking that knowing more stuff will automatically make them fluent speakers.
Right. But that intense focus on being correct all the time, it just leads to hesitation, constantly second-guessing yourself. And often just silence.
Yeah.
It becomes this huge internal roadblock. It stops them from actually doing the things they need to do to improve.
And traditional schooling sometimes makes that worse, doesn't it? Focusing so much on grammar tests.
Exactly. Prioritizing accuracy on paper over actually being able to communicate. Rules over real talking. You see people ace the written exams.
But then freeze completely when you try to have a conversation.
Precisely.
That feeling, that huge gap between knowing English in your head and actually using it,
Yeah.
that brings us right to the core challenge, I think. I remember the student I worked with, Lucas from Brazil, super dedicated guy. Honestly, studied English for over 10 years, seriously. A decade of classes, books, everything.
Wow, that's commitment.
Right? He could read really complex novels in English, no problem. His grammar test scores, always sky high. His knowledge of the rules, the vocabulary, it was amazing, frankly.
Okay.
But the moment we needed to actually speak English, he just froze, like total deer in headlights. Long, painful pauses. You could see the fear on his face, the fear of saying something wrong.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah. And I remember him saying to me, just so frustrated, I feel like I know English, but I just can't speak English. And I have to ask you listening right now, have you ever felt like Lucas? That gap?
That disconnect between what you understand intellectually and what you can actually say when you're on the spot.
Exactly. That's the gap we're trying to bridge today.
Lucas's story, it's unfortunately common, but it perfectly highlights this fundamental truth about learning a language.
Yeah.
Fluency isn't really about how much knowledge you have stored up.
Right.
It's about performance. It's about how well you can use what you know.
Performance, okay.
It's one thing to, sit calmly and remember a grammar rule or a word when you're looking at a textbook. It's a completely different ballgame to pull that knowledge out instantly, in real time, without thinking, without fear, without hesitation, right in the middle of a flowing conversation.
Yeah, when the pressure's on.
Exactly. At its heart, fluency is that feeling of being, free in a conversation.
Free. I like that.
Yeah, the ability to say what you think, what you feel, what you need. Not just accurately, but smoothly. without this huge mental effort, It's that amazing feeling when the words just seem to flow from your mind to your mouth without you consciously translating or building sentences piece by piece in your head, which just slows everything down.
Right, that internal translation trap.
Exactly. And to really get this, it helps to understand the difference between two kinds of knowledge. There's declarative knowledge, and then there's procedural knowledge.
Okay, declarative and procedural. What's the difference?
Declarative is the knowing what. It's the facts, the rules you can state, the definitions you learned. So Lucas, he had tons of declarative knowledge. He knew what the past tense was, what a word meant, what the grammar rules were. He could tell you all about them.
Got it, the facts.
But procedural knowledge, that's the knowing how. It's the ability to use that knowledge automatically, spontaneously, without consciously thinking about each step. It's built into your actions, almost like muscle memory.
Ah, okay. Like riding a bike.
Exactly like riding a bike. You can read the manual, understand the physics, know all the parts that's declarative. But until you get on, wobble, maybe fall. Until you practice. Your brain hasn't built the procedural knowledge to just balance and steer without thinking. That automatic feeling, it only comes from doing it.
Okay, that makes sense.
And that fear of making mistakes. That's often the biggest blocker to developing procedural fluency in language.
Because you're too busy worrying.
Precisely. When you're consumed by worry about being wrong, your brain gets stuck in that conscious analysis mode. You're constantly checking rules, searching for the perfect word, translating.
All that mental energy.
Exactly. That huge cognitive load, all that effort, it actively stops you from making the leap from knowing the rules declarative to just using them automatically. Procedural. It keeps you from reaching that automatic state where real fluency lives.
So it's like you can know all the ingredients for a fancy recipe.
Right. You know every ingredient, every step, the science behind it.
Yeah.
Amazing declarative knowledge.
But if you've never actually cooked, never held the knife, felt the heat, and you're terrified of burning something.
You just can't cook confidently when things get dizzy. You're stuck thinking, chop this way, add salt now, instead of just doing it intuitively. Your brain hasn't made that jump to automatic action.
It needs practice, real practice.
Exactly. Your brain needs that consistent, low-stakes practice to go from consciously applying rules to just speaking.
Yeah.
It needs to build that muscle memory, not just in your mouth, but in those neural pathways firing effortlessly. That's the gap we need to bridge.
Okay, that driving, the cooking, those analogies really hit home. Knowing about it isn't the same as being able to do it smoothly. So with that crucial idea in mind, performance over just knowledge, let's shift gears. Let's get into the practical stuff, the strategies you can actually start using.
Let's do it.
We've distilled 20 really deep practical tips from our sources, all designed to help you unlock that fluency. And my challenge to you listening right now isn't just to listen. Be active. Pick maybe just 2 or 3 tips that really click with you, that seem doable or even exciting, and actually commit to trying them out today or maybe this week.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to approach this. Please don't see these 20 tips as some giant, scary checklist you have to master all at once. That's overwhelming.
Right.
Think of it more like a toolkit. You know, a good craftsperson doesn't use every single tool for every job. They pick the right ones for what they need now.
Okay, a toolkit. I like that.
I've grouped them thematically, hopefully to make it easier to digest. We'll go from mindset to solo practice, then interactive stuff, and finally refining your speech and keeping it going.
Makes sense.
So let's start with what really feels foundational. Getting the right mindset. Because honestly, without that right internal frame, even the best techniques won't stick or be as effective. Your mindset is like the operating system for your learning.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So, first mindset shift, and we're putting this right at the top because it's so key. Stop chasing perfection.
Yes, tip 4 in the source list, but number 1 in importance, maybe.
Totally. So many learners, like Lucas, get trapped because they're terrified of making a mistake. They want to sound correct, flawless. And look, that's understandable, but it quickly becomes the suffocating thing that stops them from speaking at all. The reality check is even native speakers make grammar mistakes all the time. We stumble over words, use the wrong tense sometimes in casual chat, use slang weirdly, and oh boy, do we use filler words like and
Way more than we realize.
Exactly. True fluency, like we redefined it, is about getting your message across effectively with flow. It's honestly much, much better to say something like, he go yesterday, clear message, quickly delivered, than to pause for 10 seconds.
Agonizing.
Yeah. Agonizing, trying to remember the past tense ago, maybe getting it wrong anyway, or just losing the listener completely. For real communication, Speed plus clarity plus confidence. That beats perfect grammar every single time. Perfectionism is the enemy here.
And that raises a really important question.
Yeah.
How does shifting that perspective, away from perfect grammar towards just communicating effectively, how does that actually lower anxiety and get people speaking more?
Good question.
Well, when you let go of that huge burden of perfectionism, you free up so much mental space. Your brain isn't constantly running this internal spell check and grammar check, terrified of judgment.
Right.
Instead, it can actually focus on the message, on connecting with the person you're talking to rather than getting tangled up in the mechanics.
It takes the pressure off.
Massively. Perfectionism often comes from fear, right? Fear of judgment, fear of sounding dumb, fear of embarrassment. These fears trigger that fight or flight thing in your brain.
Which makes it hard to think clearly, let alone speak fluently.
Exactly. Your brain's busy scanning for threats, not producing language smoothly. But if you accept right from the start that mistakes aren't just okay, but actually necessary.
You reframe them. They're not failures.
Exactly. They become data points.
Yeah.
Learning opportunities. And that psychological shift, it encourages risk-taking. You become more willing to try new words, new structures, jump into conversations, knowing that even if you mess up, it's just a step forward. It's not the end of the world.
And that willingness to take risks, to get out of your comfort zone, that's what speeds up progress.
Absolutely. Because you're putting yourself in those real situations where you have to use the language.
Okay, building right on that point, the next crucial mindset piece, and this can be a tough one for people, don't fear making mistakes. That's tip 18. It sounds obvious, maybe even a bit cliche.
But it's so fundamental.
It really is. And here's a secret that might surprise you, backed by how our brains work.
Right.
Actually making mistakes, especially if someone gently corrects you, helps you remember the right way faster and better. It makes a stronger imprint than just reading a rule. Think about it in your own language. You say something wrong, someone points it out, or you catch yourself. That moment often cements the correct way in your head, right?
Yeah, it sticks more than just reading it.
Exactly. So stop holding back. Don't let that fear paralyze you. Speak up, be bold, take the chance. Because as the source material says, fluency is on the other side of your fear. It's waiting for you there.
That's so true. And cognitively, there's a lot going on there. When you make an error and then correct it, it's not just about spotting the wrong thing. It's actively strengthening and refining the neural pathways for the right thing.
Oh.
Your brain detects a mismatch. Oops, that wasn't right. Creating this little error signal. Then when you get the correction, either from someone else or figuring it out yourself, your brain works to fix that connection.
It's like repairing the wiring.
Kind of. And that fixing process engages different parts of your brain, making the correct form much more memorable. Mistakes become these super targeted learning moments. They show you exactly where your understanding needs tweaking.
Right, much better than just general studying.
Exactly. It's this cycle. Try, mess up, fix, try again. That's how procedural fluency develops. It's hands-on. And yeah, that breakthrough moment often happens right when you finally push past the fear and just embrace the messiness of learning. It's about learning from errors, not avoiding them.
Okay. And the final piece of this mindset puzzle, believe in yourself. Tip 20. This might sound a bit fluffy, but its impact is huge.
Absolutely critical.
Fluency isn't just about English skills, grammar, vocab, pronunciation. It's also deeply about confidence. If you don't genuinely believe you can become fluent, you're basically setting up roadblocks for yourself right from the start.
You're fighting an uphill battle against yourself.
Exactly. Think about it. You already learned a language. You mastered your native tongue, which is incredibly complex, mostly just by being around it. Your brain can do this. So the question for you listening is, deep down, do you truly believe you can become fluent in English? Because if you cultivate that belief, really commit to it, your brain is amazing at finding ways to make it happen. It adapts, connects the dots, learns what it needs to. That belief is the foundation.
And that ties directly into what psychologists call self-efficacy and this idea of a growth mindset. Self-efficacy is just your belief in your own ability to succeed at something specific.
Okay.
If learners have high self-efficacy, they're much more likely to set challenging goals, stick with them when things get tough, and bounce back from mistakes. Low self-efficacy, that leads to avoiding practice, giving up easily, feeling helpless.
Right, and the growth mindset part.
That's the idea from Dr. Carol Dweck that your abilities aren't fixed. You can develop them through effort, dedication, good strategies. So for language, it means understanding your current fluency isn't permanent. It can improve with practice.
So you're not just bad at languages.
Exactly. That core belief changes everything. It fuels your motivation, makes you willing to seek out speaking opportunities, and even helps your brain find solutions when you hit tricky spots in conversation. It's the fundamental fuel for all the practical tips we're about to cover.
Okay, mindset sorted. Foundational. Now let's get into the practical stuff you can do solo, just you, to build those core skills and get your mouth moving, basically.
Right, the things you can do anytime, anywhere, no partner needed.
First one, and this is a real game changer, start thinking in English. Tip 1. One of the biggest hurdles is that constant internal translation. You hear something, translate to your language, think of a reply in your language, translate back to English.
It's exhausting and so slow.
Totally. It causes that freezing thing Lucas had, so instead, start small. Make it a habit. As you go about your day, just narrate things in your head, but only in English. I'm washing the dishes, warm water, opening the door, sunny day, need my keys.
Tiny internal monologues.
Exactly. Sounds small, but it's powerful. It trains your brain to link concepts directly to English words, skipping the translation step. Over time, English starts becoming the default language in your head.
And that directly tackles the cognitive load issue we talked about. Thinking in English builds those direct neural pathways. Concept, straight to English word. No detour through your native language.
Which just saves time and mental energy.
A lot of it. It reduces cognitive load dramatically. Your brain processes faster, you react quicker in conversations, and it just feels less tiring, less effortful. You're making English the intuitive language of your inner thoughts.
Okay, next tip. This one might feel a bit weird at first, but trust us, it works. Talk to yourself. Yes, really. Tip 2.
Yes, embrace the weirdness.
You don't need a speaking partner 24/7. You've always got yourself. Try standing in front of a mirror and just describe things. Talk through your day out loud, or practice an imaginary interview, rehearse a presentation, debate a topic with yourself.
Sounds silly, but it's powerful practice.
It really is. You're building that muscle memory for speaking, getting your mouth, tongue, breath coordinated for English sounds and rhythms. And crucially, it's a totally safe space. No judgment, no pressure. Experiment freely.
And that physical aspect, the articulatory muscle memory, is vital. Speaking is physical. Your mouth, tongue, lips, breath, they all need to work together in specific ways for English. Talking to yourself gives them that workout.
Gets them used to the movements.
Exactly. Plus, that safe space aspect is huge. No fear or embarrassment means you're more likely to try out new words, complex sentences, different ways of saying things. You're moving vocabulary from passive recognition to active use. It primes you for real conversations.
Okay, then there's a cool technique called shadowing. Tip 3, I call it karaoke for your brain.
Good description.
Here's how it works. Find a short audio or video clip, TED Talk, movie scene, YouTube, even this deep dive. Play just one sentence or phrase, pause, then repeat it exactly like the speaker. Mimic the tone, the rhythm, the pronunciation, everything, as closely as you can.
Over and over.
Yep. Repeat it. You're not just saying words, you're copying the music of English. It trains your ear to hear the nuances, and your mouth to make those sounds and rhythms naturally. Great for improving flow and reducing accent.
Shadowing is brilliant because it hits both listening and speaking simultaneously. You're sharpening your auditory perception, noticing those subtle sounds and rhythms, and immediately practicing the oral production. That mimicry is key for prosody, the intonation, stress, rhythm, which makes you sound so much more natural.
Right, the music of the language.
Exactly. You're internalizing how it flows. It helps reduce your native accent's influence, makes you easier to understand, and honestly sound more fluent. It also builds automaticity by linking hearing directly to speaking, bypassing that slow sentence construction part. Try focusing on connected speech too, like how going to becomes gonna. That's a huge part of natural sound.
Good tip. Okay, next up, super simple but really effective. Read out loud. Tip 6, don't just read silently. Grab a book, an article, song lyrics, whatever, and read it aloud. Articulate the words.
Get your voice involved.
Yeah. It helps pronunciation because you have to make the sounds. It helps you feel the rhythm of sentences. It even trains your breathing for speaking. And here's a pro tip. Record yourself doing this weekly.
Ooh, the recording trick.
Yeah. Then listen back after a month or two. Compare the old and new recordings. You will hear the progress, and it's incredibly motivating. Plus, you can spot things to work on.
Reading aloud is such a great bridge between receptive skills, reading, listening, and productive skills, speaking, writing. Vocalizing the words connects the visual input to the verbal output, strengthening those neural links for production. You internalize structures, phrasing, vocab much more actively than silent reading.
Makes sense.
And the recording part, that's gold. It gives you objective feedback you can't get in the moment. You can hear your pronunciation, rhythm issues, grammar slips without the pressure of a conversation. You become your own coach, targeting exactly what needs work. It really helps track progress and boost confidence.
Okay, another daily habit. Describe your day in English. Tip 11. Super simple. At the end of the day, take 5 minutes. Just recount what you did, aloud or in your head. Woke up at 7, had tea, went to work, saw Sarah at lunch.
Just narrate the day's events.
Exactly. You can say it or write it in a journal. It reinforces everyday vocabulary, helps you practice sequencing events, logically building narrative coherence, and develops your basic storytelling ability. All crucial for real conversation.
And it's effective because it uses your life. It's relevant, personal, memorable. You're constantly retrieving and using words and grammar related to your actual daily routine, actions, interactions. That really speeds up lexical access, getting the words out when you need them. Plus, it directly builds storytelling skills. Conversations are full of little stories, anecdotes. Practicing describing your day helps you organize thoughts, sequence things clearly, connect ideas. It turns passive knowledge into active language for telling your own story.
And one more solo practice, simile but with a twist for feedback, keep a speaking diary. Tip 16.
The audio journal idea.
Yeah. Every day, maybe. Record yourself speaking for just 2 minutes. About anything. Your thoughts, feelings, something you learned, a problem. Just talk. Don't censor yourself. Just flow.
And the key step.
Listen back regularly, maybe once a week.
Yeah.
This gives you amazing insights. You'll hear your progress. You'll spot those recurring mistakes you don't notice live. You'll see where to focus. It really accelerates self-correction and improvement.
This is fantastic for developing metacognition, thinking about your own learning. Recording creates that objective snapshot of your speaking. Listening back allows for analysis you just can't do while you're busy talking. You spot phonetic errors, grammar issues, hesitation patterns, maybe places you could use better words.
Right, you catch things.
Exactly. That cycle speak, listen, reflect, creates this powerful self-awareness. It helps you identify and fix errors much faster, preventing them from becoming ingrained habits. You're essentially coaching yourself, using your own output as a textbook.
Okay, so that's a solid set of solo practices, but we know that's not the whole picture, right? To really fly, you need interaction.
Absolutely. Solo work builds the foundation, but interaction builds the bridge to real-world performance. Time to talk to people. Or maybe not just people.
Intriguing. Okay, first, the classic, maybe the most vital. Practice speaking with real people. Tip 8. You've heard it before, but it's crucial. Find ways to talk English with others.
Get out there.
Yeah. Join online speaking clubs. Use language exchange apps like Tandem or HelloTalk. Find Reddit forums. There are tons of options. And here's the key thing people miss. You don't need a native speaker.
That's a really important point.
Any English learner around your level, or even slightly different, can be a huge help. It's not about their perfect grammar, it's about the act of conversation, the back and forth. Even 15 minutes a day of real interaction makes a massive difference to your confidence and flow.
The value of real-time human interaction is just irreplaceable. It forces that unpredictability.
Yeah.
You can't script it. You have to retrieve words instantly, generate ideas on the fly, adapt to where the conversation goes, reacting in the moment. Exactly. You're listening actively, interpreting, responding under pressure. And that immediate feedback, a nod, a confused look, a gentle correction from a peer, it's invaluable. It helps internalize patterns, improves response time, builds confidence in dynamic situations. It pushes you out of your comfort zone. That regular conversation, even short bursts, breaks down hesitation and builds that automaticity needed for fluent exchange.
Okay, but what if you're shy? Or finding a partner is genuinely hard with your schedule?
Good point. That's where technology can be amazing. Which brings us to use apps that focus on speaking. Tip 12.
Like Cambly for tutors or those AI tools.
Exactly. Cambly connects you to live tutors.
Yeah.
Then you have AI-powered apps like Speak or TalkPal, where you talk to a voice-based AI. These are fantastic, especially if you feel anxious about talking to real people initially.
A safe space to start.
Totally. Non-judgmental. You can mess up without embarrassment, practice specific scenarios over and over, build confidence at your own speed. Think of them as a great stepping stone towards real-world conversations.
Warming up your speaking muscles.
Precisely. And these apps have unique advantages. AI offers that 24/7 availability practice anytime, plus often instant feedback on pronunciation or grammar. It lowers that effective filter, the anxiety that blocks learning.
Okay.
Human tutors, though, offer nuance. AI might miss cultural insights, real empathy, adapting to totally unexpected turns in conversation. So, ideally, you leverage both. They complement each other perfectly for different needs and stages.
Makes sense. Use the tools that work for you. Okay, so we've got solo practice, interactive practice. Now let's talk immersion, surrounding yourself with English.
Making it part of your environment, passively and actively.
First one here, and this is huge for sounding natural. Learn phrases, not just words. Tip 5, a lot of learners focus on single words, which you need, obviously, but fluent speakers don't just glue individual words together, they use chunks, collocations.
Words that naturally hang out together.
Exactly. Don't just learn decision. Learn make a decision, not just break, but take a break. Not cold, but catch a cold. Learn these as whole units. They roll off the tongue more easily, sound more natural, and actually reduce your mental effort when speaking.
Learning in chunks or collocations is absolutely fundamental. It's how native speakers learn. Our brains are pattern finders. They store common sequences. Learning word by word means retrieving each one, applying grammar. Slow. Learning make a decision as one chunk. Your brain grabs the whole thing instantly.
Faster and less work for your brain.
Much faster. And it makes you sound so much more natural. Word-for-word translation often sounds clunky, even if it's technically correct. Do a break versus take a break.
Yeah.
Learning phrases trains your intuition for how English actually sounds. It's about speaking like a native, not just correctly.
Right. Okay, next. Watch English movies the right way. Tip 7. Movies, TV shows, great resources. But passive watching, maybe with subtitles in your language, it's not doing that much for your speaking.
You need active viewing.
Exactly. Watch with English subtitles. Pay attention not just to words, but whole phrases, the speaker's tone, their body language. Pause often. Rewind. Repeat lines out loud. Try to copy the actor's delivery, the rhythm. Turn fun time into powerful learning time.
That active versus passive difference is key. Passive viewing is just exposure. Active viewing engages your brain deeply. You're not just learning words, but context, nonverbal cues, culture. Communication is way more than just words.
Tone, expression, gestures.
All of it. Pausing, mimicking, replaying, you're using multiple senses, multiple brain functions. It creates a much richer, stickier learning experience. You're internalizing how things are said, why they're said that way. That leads to fuller understanding and more natural production.
Okay, here's a super simple immersion trick. Label your environment. Tip 10. Get sticky notes.
The sticky note method. Classic.
Label everything. Fridge, mirror, closet, light switch, table. You create this constant visual stream of English words around you. You see them all day without even trying to study. It just seeps in. Makes English part of your world, not just a school subject.
It's brilliant because it uses constant passive exposure and visual association. Every time you open the fridge, you see fridge. It reinforces the word effortlessly, embedding it in your long-term memory without dedicated study time. Your home becomes a learning zone.
Learning by osmosis.
Pretty much. It normalizes English, makes it feel less foreign, less academic. It integrates it into your routine, sustainable, effortless, and really effective over time.
Okay, expanding on that. Surround yourself with English. Tip 15 goes beyond just sticky notes.
Think digital.
Your phone, your apps.
Yeah. Change language settings to English. Follow English speaking accounts on social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube that you genuinely like. Cooking, gaming, fashion, whatever your interests are.
Consume content you enjoy, but in English. The more English you just passively absorb, scrolling, watching videos, pursuing hobbies, the more intuitive it becomes. Your brain starts picking up patterns, phrases, structures, accents, without you consciously studying. It's like background processing.
That passive consumption, done right, builds language intuition. That feel for what sounds right, even if you can't explain the rule. Constant exposure to real English helps your brain absorb natural patterns, idioms, rhythms.
It just starts to sound normal.
Exactly. It stops feeling like this external thing you have to analyze and becomes part of your mental landscape. It seeps into your subconscious, building a strong foundation that supports all your active speaking practice. Effortless learning that fuels performance.
And we definitely have to mention, listen to English podcasts like this one. Tip 19. Podcasts are amazing for fluency.
Absolutely a fantastic tool.
Hey, train your ear like crazy. You hear natural vocab, different accents, how real sentences are put together in unscripted talk. Make it a daily habit. Commute, cooking, chores, gym.
Plug in and learn.
Yeah, because it's audio only, your brain has to work harder to understand, which is good. You absorb so much, even unconsciously. It builds that auditory memory for rhythm and intonation.
Auditory input is foundational. You need to hear it to produce it naturally. Podcasts give you authentic, varied speech conveniently. Listening develops that auditory memory, storing sounds, patterns, phrasing, unlike music maybe, or video with visual aids. Podcasts force pure listening comprehension.
Sharpens your ear.
Definitely.
Hobby.
It trains your brain to process spoken English efficiently, bridging the gap between understanding and speaking by internalizing how fluent speakers actually sound, connecting words, reducing sounds, expressing ideas conversationally.
Okay, so we're immersed, but fluency is also about the sound itself, right? The nuances.
Yes, refining your speech to sound more natural, more engaging.
So a big one, learn intonation and rhythm. Tip 13, English isn't flat, right? It's stress-timed. Some words get stressed, others get squished.
That up and down musicality.
Exactly. And where you put the stress changes the meaning. Like, I didn't say he stole the money, implying you didn't say it, but maybe someone else did or you hinted.
Press this.
I didn't say he stole the money, implying someone else stole it. I didn't say he stole the money, implying he stole something else. See? Same words, different stress, totally different implications. You got to practice mimicking that native rhythm and stress. It makes you sound way more fluent and prevents confusion.
Mastering prosody, intonation, stress, rhythm is huge. It's not just about being understood, it's about conveying emotion, emphasis, intent. Without it, even perfect grammar can sound flat, robotic, or accidentally convey the wrong feeling. A lot of meaning is in the music.
Right. It helps people feel what you mean.
Exactly. Makes your speech dynamic, natural. Listeners get the cues. It allows you to express subtleties beyond just the words themselves. That's advanced communication.
Okay, another crucial skill for sounding fluent and just for keeping conversations going, learn to paraphrase. Tip 14.
The art of talking around things.
Yeah, we've all been there. You're talking, flow is good, then bam, you forget a key word. What do most learners do?
Freeze. Panic. Shut down.
Right, don't do that. Learn to describe the word you forgot. If you blank on microwave, say the thing that heats food fast, or that box for leftovers, being able to navigate around a missing word is a massive sign of fluency. It's not about knowing every word, but being resourceful enough to keep talking.
It absolutely is a hallmark of communicative competence. It shows adaptability, resourcefulness. You can get your message across even without the perfect word. Perfect recall is impossible, even for natives.
Good point.
Paraphrasing trains your brain to think flexibly, to use circumlocution talking around it. It proves you understand the concept, not just the one word for it. That adaptability builds huge confidence, because you know you can always find a way to say what you mean. You stay in the conversation.
Okay, we've covered a lot. Mindset, solo practice, interaction, immersion, refining sound. Let's bring it together. What are the big principles for keeping this going long term?
Sustaining progress and enthusiasm.
Yeah, the biggest one, maybe for anything you learn. Be consistent, not perfect. Tip 9. Learning English is like going to the gym. 3 hours once a week. Not nearly as good as 15-30 minutes every single day.
Consistency trumps intensity over the long haul.
Totally. Set up a small daily routine. Maybe 10 minutes speaking, shadowing, talking to yourself, 10 minutes listening, podcast, 10 minutes reading aloud or doing a speaking diary. Do it every day. The results will compound like crazy. Small, consistent steps lead to big changes.
And there's a strong neurological reason for that. Short, frequent practice is way better for memory consolidation and habit formation than long, infrequent sessions. Spaced repetition, regular engagement. That's how brains learn best. Each session reinforces those neural pathways.
Keeps them active.
Exactly. And consistency builds habits. Once it's a habit, it takes less willpower. It just becomes part of your day. It keeps English active in your mind, prevents backsliding or errors becoming permanent, and just keeps pushing you forward. Steady drips fill the bucket.
Love that. Okay, final tip, and this one ties so much together. Learn storytelling. Tip 17. Think about really engaging speakers. They don't just give facts, they tell stories, anecdotes, experiences. That's how people connect.
It's fundamental human communication.
So practice telling short stories from your life. Simple stuff. Got lost finding that coffee shop. My dog did something funny. Recounting a work interaction. These stories force you to use vocab, grammar, sequence things, make it flow. All at once. It makes practice meaningful and directly useful for real chats.
Storytelling is incredibly holistic. It integrates everything. Vocabulary for description, grammar for sequencing, narrative structure for flow. You have to retrieve info, organize it, present it compellingly. And more importantly, it makes practice purposeful. People connect through stories. Mastering storytelling in English isn't just about linguistic skill. It's about developing that fundamental ability to build rapport, express yourself, and truly participate in conversations.
Oh.
It turns language from a subject into a tool for connection.
Wow. Okay, we have covered so much ground. Mindset, practice, immersion, refinement, consistency, storytelling.
It's a lot.
It is. But the main message I want to leave you with is this. English fluency. It's not a destination, not a finish line you cross. It's a journey, an ongoing, dynamic process. Some days you'll feel stuck, like you're going nowhere, maybe even backward. Other days you'll surprise yourself, words will just flow, that up and down. Totally normal. It's part of learning anything complex. Embrace it.
And connecting that to the bigger picture, that whole journey really rests on 3 pillars working together.
Yeah.
Consistency, connection, and confidence.
Consistency, connection, confidence.
Consistency builds the pathways and habits. Connection, talking to people, using AI gives you the real-time practice and feedback. And confidence, believing in yourself, embracing mistakes, that's the fuel. It lets you take risks and perform. They all support each other.
That makes perfect sense. Consistency, connection, confidence. So, with all that, our final call to action for you listening is simple.
Just start.
Exactly. Take action. Start today. Don't wait for the perfect time or the perfect anything. Pick just one tip from this whole deep dive. Just one that resonated with you, that feels doable, and practice it. Speak, read, listen. Think in English. Immerse yourself. Embrace the whole process. And just keep going. Every small step done consistently is a real step forward.
Absolutely.
The journey to fluency starts with one sentence. So go out there and speak it.
Well said.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into English fluency. We really hope this gave you not just some useful insights, but real motivation and practical steps you can take. Until next time,
Stay curious.
stay confident and keep speaking.